Alright, you guys, as you can see, section 5.4 for pre-calc, you're using the sum and difference formulas for section 5.4. These are the two formulas. A couple things I want to point out when we get over to the cosine one is these symbols are the same symbols, and I can explain that. Give me a second to erase this. This is writing two formulas in one. Sine of u plus v is equal to sine, heck of a sine, u cosine v plus cosine u sine v. And it's also sine u minus v equals, see if I can get sine a little better, not much, u cosine v minus cosine u sine v. So it's a shorthand way of writing these two things together. It's not that every formula has the plus and minus in it. No, it's that if you're adding them, you add them. If you're subtracting them, you subtract them. Okay, just jump ahead real quick so you see it. This one, if you're adding, you subtract. And if you're subtracting, you add. Okay, so that's the two formulas. Coming back, excuse me, the whole goal of this is to be able to use angles you already know off the unit circle to help you get angles you don't know off the unit circle. So, for example, 75 degrees you could write as 45 plus 30 or 30 plus 45. You could also get, and those are referencing unit circle angles. You could also reference 135 degrees. Remember 135 is hanging out right here. 135 degrees minus 60 is 75 degrees. Okay, so I'll do them both ways. So first one, it really doesn't matter which one of these I pick. And if you want, I can show you both ways. But both ways for this one. All right, before I switch to that one. Sine of 75 is the same thing as sine of 45 plus 30. So that's this top pattern. And the pattern goes sine uv, if it's, let me write it underneath then, sine u plus v. 45 is u, 30 is v. And this is the pattern. You're just going to fill in the u and the v wherever they go. So it would be sine 45 cosine 30 plus cosine 45 sine 30. And now you reference unit circle. Okay, sine of 45, that's square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 30, that's square root of 3 over 2. Plus cosine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2 times sine of a half. Sine of a half. Sine of 30 is a half. There we go. Okay, multiply these straight across, and you get the square root of 6 over 4 plus the square root of 2 over 4, which is square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 over 4. And no, you cannot combine those. It really doesn't matter which way you write it. If you write square root of 6 plus square root of 2 or square root of 2 plus square root of 6, okay? But that's fine, okay? Now, there wasn't anything magical about writing 4530. I could have written it sine of 30 plus 45, and you're still going to get the same answer. Okay, so it's, this is your u, and this is your v. Okay, so filling this pattern out, so that would be sine 30 cosine 45 plus, oops, I already made a mistake. Apologize for that. Plus cosine 30 sine 45. Not bad, all those fours only got one that closed. Alright, sine of 30 is a half times cosine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Plus cosine of 30 is square root of 3 over 2 times sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. So you got square root of 2 over 4 plus square root of 6 over 4, which is square root of 2 plus square root of 6 over 4, which, as you can see, it's exactly the same thing. So it doesn't matter when you're doing a sum which way you write it. It's going to come out to be the same thing. Okay. So let me show you when it's this one, so you can see the other formula. So if you think of that as sine of 135 minus 60, and I realize that this is certainly going to be a more natural way to think of it. But, on the off chance this is the one you think of, by all means, feel free to use it. So it's saying that this is sine of u minus v. So that's u, that's v, and this time you got a subtraction. Since there's a subtraction here, you use the subtraction there. So sine of, and remember the answer before I even get over there was square root of 6 plus square root of 2 over 4, or square root of 2 plus the square root of 6 over 4. So it's going to be the same answer. Okay, 135 degrees. Remember, you're right there. All right. Sine of 135 times cosine of 60 minus cosine of 135 times sine of 60. Okay, so again, knowing the unit circle, sine of 135 is square root of 2 over 2. That would be a half, minus, that would be negative square root of 2 over 2, times sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Those go plus, and you see you get square root of 2 over 4 plus square root of 6 over 4, so you get exactly the same answers. Okay? So just trying to have a little buy-in that it really doesn't matter which one you do it. Now I can't switch these, otherwise I get sine of negative 75. Okay? The order when you're subtracting can't be switched. All right, the sum and difference formula for cosine, remember the signs are opposite. So if I write it out, just be a little explicit, that's u plus v, sorry, my v and u's tend to look similar, equals cosine u cosine v minus, well, if this is a plus, you do a minus, sine u sine v. Okay? So when you're adding, you would subtract. Right? So if I do the 30 and 45, cosine 30 plus 45, then you're going to get, let's see, cosine 30, cosine 45, whoops, closed it, minus sine of 30, sine 45. So, hold on guys, someone's going to be at the door, hold on. Thanks guys, apologize for the interruption. Okay, square root of 3 over 2 times square root of 2 over 2 minus sine of 30. Let's see, that's a half times square root of 2 over 2. So you got square root of 6 over 2 minus square root of, whoops, that's a 4. I apologize, I'm trying to rush because of the interruption. There we go. Over 4 minus that over 4 is square root of 6 minus square root of 2 over 4. Okay? I think I might have another interruption coming. Maybe not. Okay. If you did it cosine 135 minus 60. So using the same pattern, this time I'm subtracting. So you got cosine of 135 times cosine of 60. But since you're subtracting, you add plus sine 135 sine 60. Okay? So, cosine of 135. Now remember 135 is hanging out over there. So you got negative square root of 2 over 2 times cosine of 60 is a half plus sine of 135. So that would be square root of 2 over 2 times cosine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. So you have negative square root of 2 over 4 plus square root of 6 over 4. So you see you're going to get the same thing. Okay? Let's see. Doing it with tangent. The top of the tangent is adding and the bottom is subtracting. And in case you guys are worried about now, and in case I haven't reset it, I should have said it at the beginning, none of these formulas are going to make you memorize. I'm always going to give you these formulas. They weren't on the list that I said you had to memorize. So this is what I'm always going to provide you. I'm just explaining how the symbols work and how you do the arithmetic. Okay? So if we go back to looking at, whoops, I guess I'll erase that. If we think of this as tangent of 30 plus 45, so then it's going to be, this is u and v, so you're just following u and v. So that's the tangent of 30. Since I'm adding, plus the tangent of 45 over 1 minus tangent 30, tangent 45. Without a doubt, these are harder. Okay? So 30 degrees. 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2 a half. 45 is square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And remember, tangent is your y over your x. Okay? So tangent of 45 is going to be pretty easy. Tangent of 45 is 1. Okay? Tangent of 30, however, is a little bit harder. So that's a half over square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over the square root of 3 is 1 over the square root of 3. Now you certainly can rationalize this. Now it's debatable at this point whether it's worth it because it's not the final answer, but we'll just run with it because that's what you guys are used to. Okay? So that would be, I suppose I should write it, tangent of 30 is square root of 3 over 3. Now you just go back and replace these pieces with what they're worth. Then you do the arithmetic of bringing stuff together. So the tangent of 30 is square root of 3 over 3 plus tangent of 45 is 1 over 1 minus square root of 3 over 3 times 1. Okay? Since it's times 1, I really don't need it. All right? Now I'm going to go ahead and get a common denominator on top. So I multiply this one by 3 over 3, and you get square root of 3 plus 3 over 3 over 1 minus, oops, sorry, same idea. You had to get a common denominator. Got ahead of myself. 3 over 3. So the bottom is 3 minus the square root of 3 over 3. Now you're dividing here, so you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. 3 minus the square root of 3. 3's cancel. Let me scroll down, give myself a little more room. Okay, so this becomes, and I'm going to turn this one around so it's similar to that one. 3 plus the square root of 3 over 3 minus the square root of 3. Now technically you're not done because you have a radical on the bottom. And no, nothing can cancel here, you guys. You can't cancel when you're adding and subtracting. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by its conjugate. 3 plus the square root of 3. The bottom is the difference in square pattern, so that's the first thing squared minus the second thing squared, so the bottom is 6. So that's pretty straightforward. The top is a perfect square. So in other words, that's 3 plus the square root of 3 squared. You guys could FOIL it, or you could remember the shortcut for something when it's squared. You square the first thing plus twice this product. So that would be 6 squared roots of 3. Square the last thing. So you get 12 plus 6 square roots of 3. So that would be 12 plus 6 square roots of 3. Now this does reduce. It gives you 2 plus the square root of 3. Okay? Remember, it has to cancel with both things in order to do it. All right? Now, to show you it with the other one, I know that you guys believe me that they work by now, but just to show you that it works and you're following the pattern. Okay? If you guys did this as tangent of 135 minus 60, then that's u minus v, so you're following the pattern of u minus v, so it's the bottom symbol. Now ahead of time, I think it's a good thing if you guys figure out what the tangent of these individual things are going to be. Tangent of 135, okay, let's go over there and look. That's a 45, so they're identical numbers, but one's a plus, one's a minus, is negative 1. Tangent of 60. Let's see, you guys have 60 degrees is a half square root of 3 over 2, so it's y over x. So that's going to be square root of 3 over 2 over a half times 2 over 1 is the square root of 3. So when you see tangent 60, you're going to write this. When you see tangent 135, you're going to write that. So go ahead and figure those things out ahead of time. All right, so here goes the pattern. So it's going to be tangent 135, and it's minus, because I'm minusing, so I'm minusing, tangent 60 over 1 plus. I'm subtracting, so it's on the bottom, so I use the bottom symbol. Tangent 135 minus it's times, I apologize for that, tangent 60. Okay, so tangent of 135 is negative 1. Negative 1 minus tangent is 60, square root of 3. Hey, that's nice, no fractions. This one, it's going to be 1 plus tangent of 135, so that's negative 1 times tangent of 60 is square root of 3. And look, minus 1 over 1 minus square root of 3. Now, I didn't lose a symbol, did I? I don't think so. Okay. That's looking eerily similar to this. Okay? Let's multiply by its conjugate and see what we get. I hope I didn't make a mistake somewhere. I'm going to be really embarrassed. Okay, its conjugate would be 1 plus the square root of 3. 1 plus the square root of 3. Okay, the top, that's a difference of square. Well, not quite. How about, I'm going to look at the top, negative 1, that's 1 plus the square root of 3. Now 1 plus the square root of 3. Now that's a perfect square pattern. Get done and multiply it by negative 1. So that would be 1. You square this, multiply it together, square that, 3. So that would be 4 plus the square root of 3 times negative 1. Oh, I'm getting a bad feeling in my stomach. And the bottom is the difference of square pattern. So that's 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. I'm getting a bad feeling in my stomach. Where did I leave it? Okay. Negative 4. Oh, how about this? This negative is going to cancel out. So I have 4 plus the square root of 3 over 2. Let me pause this, guys, find my mistake, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, I found it. Thank goodness, because I was going absolutely crazy. It's right here. This is supposed to be a 2. So that's supposed to be a 2. So I have 4 plus 2 square roots of 3 over 2, which is 2 plus the square root of 3, which, there it is. Okay, I was about ready to pass out. All right, there it is. Sorry for that interruption.